call to the faithful. Come ye, brothers and sisters from around the world, to the temple of Black Empowerment. I wanted to talk to you all tonight because this is a day of tragedy. It is a day of unspeakable violence. It is a day that has rocked the nation to its core. And I just felt that tonight I should come and bring you the word. So I want you to call your family, call your friends, gather them around, because this, the haven of intelligent black thought, the only place that will tell it to you as you need to know it, this is where you need to be. Today is a day of tragedy. It is a day of infamy. I know a lot of you been watching television and you see what happened in Baton Rouge. Some cops got killed down there, but that's not what makes today tragic. So no, we're not talking about that. No, today is a day of tragedy and infamy because today marks the 2-year anniversary, if I may to use that word, of the video recorded, internationally shown murder of Eric Garner by the New York Police Department. And since then, every level of government, right up to the President of the United States, has engaged in a campaign to cover up his murder and to not prosecute the killers. The very President of the United States is in on it. This is not simply a war crime. This is a crime against humanity. And it is allowed to continue because we live in a nation that adheres to a doctrine of white supremacy. Now, you must understand what that doctrine means. You must understand what it means to be an adherent to the doctrine of white supremacy. So I invite you all to come gather round. Because someone needs to let you know what it is here tonight, brothers and sisters. You have to understand what supremacy means. As Neely Fuller has told us all again and again, supremacy means because I say so. It doesn't matter if what I'm saying now contradicts what I said 2 seconds ago. The reality that you will be required to adhere to is whatever it is I want at the moment that I want it, because this is not about the truth. Damn sure not about justice and honesty. It is about power. And that I have the power to violate you and your rights. Because I say so. Because I say I can. Black people have been told for the last 150 plus years that, well, you live in a system that has justice, but whenever an injustice is perpetrated upon you, your only recourse is to sit and hope that white society gains a conscience and decides that you should not be victimized. That's the only option that you have available to you. So if the police come up to you operating as race soldiers and they commit a crime against you, assault you, even kill you, you cannot stand up in defense of your own life. Now, if you stand up, if something happens to the police of that nature, if something happens to race soldiers pretending to be police of that nature, well, that's different. Well, they have the right to do whatever they want to, and nothing that they ever do is wrong. By definition of the fact that they are race soldiers, nothing that they do is wrong. Richard Nixon adhered to this particular ideology. Why, he wanted to claim that the Constitution makes the president immune from any and all laws. That because he is the president of the United States, by definition, whatever he does is correct simply by virtue of the fact that he's the one who does it. By that definition, it's correct. Just because it's him. And do you realize that throughout society, that's what they adhere to? It is the correct thing. It is the right thing to do, simply because we are the ones doing it. We are the ones doing it, and that is what makes it the right thing to do. Because we say so. So if we tell you that everything the police do is correct and they can never be wrong, even if they break every law on the books, we say it's right. And that's the new rule. But I got right here where you wrote down that that was wrong. That was 4 seconds ago. New rule now. Everything we do is right. So what you're saying is wrong right now? It's right now. Well, okay. Well, what we were referring to before, you're wrong about that. No, we're right on both sides. What? If we do it, it's right. And that's the situation that you find yourselves in now. If they do it, it's right. If they do it, it's correct. By definition, it's just the right thing. What has happened is that they're starting to realize that things are not quite going the way they would have hoped. You see, this was supposed to be the century of unimpeded white supremacy. They were going to usher back in all of the laws, and they were just going to put it on the table this time. You see, up until now, they had to speak in code words. They were just going to put it on the table now. All the lynching laws, all the fugitive slave laws, all the police laws, they were just going to put them all on the table, that they can just do whatever they want, whenever they want, and you as a black person simply have no rights that the white man is obligated to respect and recognize. That was what this century was supposed to do. John Bel Edwards was passing the Blue Lives Matter law. He was passing that because this was supposed to be the beachhead for white supremacy being inaugurated into law. That's what this was supposed to be. That's what was supposed to happen. And you were supposed to just lay down and accept it. The slaughter of your men, the slaughter of your women, the slaughter of your children, and you were just supposed to accept it. And what they were looking for was that we were going to sit here and argue and debate and banter and go ring around the rosy and talk to them. Now, they shoot bullets at us, but we're supposed to talk to them. And now they're seeing that the game isn't going that way anymore. A couple of days ago, there was an attempted coup in Turkey. The country of Turkey. And the coup failed. It failed within a day of it happening. It failed within hours of the military, members of the military, attempting a coup of the government. Failed within hours. Do you know why it failed so quickly? The coup, even though you had members of the military involved, soldiers in the streets involved, the coup failed. And it failed quickly. Why? It failed quickly because the people who launched the coup did not have the popular support of the people. You see, you can get something done if you have the support of the people. You can get tyranny accomplished if you have the support of the people. The problem is, and right now, the individuals in government who are trying to forward white supremacist agendas through police violence laws to promote police violence against citizens, these individuals are recognizing it's not going as easy as they thought it would. Why? Because they don't have the popular support of the people. The people have had enough. And you can no longer say, well, a cop said it, so you all gotta go along with it. You have to support us because we're the police and we're here to help. Everybody knows now that that's a lie and it's not true. So there is no popular support for the police. There is no popular support for death squads roaming the streets. You can't repackage them and rename them and relabel them and legitimize them. It's not working. And that's where the caterwauling is coming from. That's not working. Now, we have a good number of white supremacists, outright white supremacist racists listening to this broadcast right now. And I want to direct my next comments directly to you. Directly to you, to law enforcement, to the political structure. You have been engaging in this covert, low-level race war where you have Klansmen and white supremacists who have infiltrated police departments, infiltrated judgeships, infiltrated senators. You have a white supremacist structure that has been waging a campaign of death and murder against black people. And saying, well, we won't ask the rank and file citizens to go lynch these people in mass anymore. We will send out race soldiers who have infiltrated positions in police departments. We will send them to do the dirty work instead. And we will say, well, by definition, they did it, so it's legal. We'll see if that'll fly. We'll see if that catches on with the people. We'll see if they'll back it. And I'm here to tell you that what you found out is that's not going to work. You will not get the people to support you trying to legalize genocide. Because that's what you really want. What they really want is to get this race war conflict going. But the problem is the very guys who are talking about getting it started don't want to fight it. They want someone else to do it. And as soon as they get their noses busted, they go running. As I said before, they don't really want that to happen. They don't really want to go there. Not really, they don't. They don't really want this kind of stuff with us. They don't. You see, this is terrorism. Terrorism is where you target a group of people and attempt to use murder, violence, threats, intimidation, and any other coercive tactic at your means to get them to give up to you something that belongs to them. That's terrorism. And in American society, unfortunately, there is a sizable population of the dominant culture that is fully engaged in a war of terrorism against black people. We get up every day just trying to live our lives. They get up every day saying that, no, nothing's right. It's not all right until we kill the niggers. Now, once that happens, then things may be okay. We get up every day thinking about how to help ourselves. They get up every day trying to figure out how to get rid of us. And when they legalize the police to kill us in the streets, and you have dozens of citizens saying, yeah, that's right, that's good. Kill Eric Garner, yeah. Kill Trayvon Martin, he's a teenager, yeah. Yeah, kill Tamir Rice, he's just 12 years old, yeah. Kill Aiyana Jones, she's 6, yeah, yeah. Don't prosecute anybody, just kill him, yeah. Don't you realize we are long down the road of Nazi Germany now? You have a governor in Louisiana who is engaging in this. A governor. A sitting governor in Louisiana who has made it his goal to try to legalize this. And he's not the only one. They're testing us to see if we will just sit still and be marched off to the gallows. They really want to see if they can do that. And they want to see what our reaction's going to be. They are killing black folk every single week. And they have prosecutors who are fellow white supremacists with them, who are a part of this conspiracy to murder us. There's a whole killing machine apparatus that's already in place and already working. Already in place. And they tell us that the only reasonable response for us is to sit still and hope that the killers gain a conscience at some point and stop killing us, but at no time should we do anything about it. Well, I have some random musings and some random thoughts. Totally unrelated to what's occurred today, by the way. And I'd like to share those with you all now. First thought I have is God don't like ugly. The second thought that I have is if you are a, quote, good member of a murderous, corrupt organization, then you are not a good person. If all of the people around you, or even some of the people around you, are out killing people, and you are supporting it and condoning it, you are one of them. You're a bad person too. You just are too cowardly to pull triggers yourself, but you aid and abet those who do. Don't you all understand that without a second's hesitation, The same evil individuals who killed Alton Sterling with nothing in his hands and killed Eric Garner, they would kill every single one of us if they had the chance to do it. They kill us all. They would kill every single one of you listening. They would walk into your homes and kill you all and pile the bodies up in the street and dance around like savages, wildly screaming and celebrating. Understand something. The only reason that they killed Alton Sterling and not you is because he was the one standing there and not you. And the people who support the killers, that's Nazi Germany reborn. Do you think Hitler was able to just do it all on his own because he marched in the streets? No, he had millions of Germans supporting him. After all those years of them saying they were not involved in a war of annihilation against Jews, and then one day, yeah, kill the Jews. Kill the Jews. Let's kill them. They stood there long enough, off to the gallows, off to the gas chambers. They stood still long enough. There's not enough buck dancing and bed wenching in the world that is going to save you from a savage beast whose goal is your annihilation. And let me be very clear about this. The goal today of the American white supremacist social order is nothing short of the annihilation of all black people. It's nothing else. That is their goal. It is what they fixate and dream about morning, noon, and night. It is the only thing that is on their minds, and the only thing that is on their minds when they go to bed. It's the only thing on their minds when they wake up, and the only thing on their minds when they go to sleep. Is how to make that number of black people go from a couple of billion to zero. How can we make that happen? And right now, they are in the midst of attempting to normalize violence against black people. They're trying to normalize it now. Make it normal. Make it ordinary. And unfortunately, the average rank and file white supremacist citizen understands it because they speak in codes. I'm sitting here watching WWL TV. This is out of New Orleans now. And if you go to WWL's website, they got a Vietnamese dude who was the anchor today and this white woman the anchor today. You got only a few black folk at that whole station in supposedly a black city. And you only got 3 or 4 black folk at the entire station. Everything else is whites and Asians. This is in New Orleans now. I'm sitting on here turning on a TV station in New Orleans, and they had, out of a dozen reporters they talked to at their station, only one was black. So we're talking about black people, and the little white woman was named Karen Sweeney. She just repeatedly kept bringing up about black people and African Americans and protests and African American police officers. She just kept doing that over and over and over again. We didn't have any information about the shooter, nothing about race or whatever, but she wanted to make sure that you understood race was at the front of her mind. She sat there and read a statement from the sheriff of Ascension Parish, and it wasn't a 1 or 2 sentences long. She sat there reading for 3 or 4 minutes. A statement from him talking about we need to stop the rhetoric against police, and the police are the good guys, and you need to support them, and nothing they do is wrong, and you're a bad person if you don't support the police, even if they murder people. She sat there for 3 or 4 minutes reading this screed. I was no longer watching an American television station. I was watching state-sponsored TV. The state-sponsored news station. She was talking and behaving as an operative of the sheriff's department, not an independent observer in the media. And her co-workers were repeatedly saying this was senseless, this was tragedy. Now, Alton Sterling's murder was not senseless. They never described that as senseless. That wasn't senseless. And the little Vietnamese fellow with the bullfrog voice, he chimed in right with him too. He understood right there, boy, in a black city, but he understood who we're gonna talk against. Made it very, very clear that he was lockstep with them. You would not have known that you were not at a Donald Trump rally. You wouldn't have known that by watching WWL today. They had their talking points down. Everything was in support of the police and to no other consideration whatsoever. If you didn't know better, if you had just turned on WWL today, you would have walked away with the impression that the Baton Rouge Police Department for the last 2 weeks has been giving out ice cream cones to children and walking little old ladies across the street. You would not know that the Baton Rouge Police Department has been engaged in an ongoing campaign of terror and terrorism against black people. The man who posted the video of Alton Sterling being murdered by the Baton Rouge Police Department found himself arrested for traffic tickets. This is what the Baton Rouge Police Department is doing. They got, I think some folk out of Georgia. Oh, you got traffic tickets out of Georgia. Now that is the definition of retribution. But who are you going to take it to? Who are you going to complain to? The white supremacists are not just at the police level. The white supremacists have infiltrated the entirety of what you call your American judicial system. They've infiltrated the whole thing from top to bottom, soup to nuts. They've infiltrated the whole thing. Who are you going to go say it is illegal retribution to? Who are you going to say it to? The police chief? Don't make me laugh. The prosecutor's office? Get out of here. The judge? Nigga, please. It's right because we say so. Now, we all know that's retribution, but who are you going to get to enforce it? And that's an old rule of racists, by the way. When black people did start to get rid of those literacy laws at the polls that kept you, the poll taxes, and kept you from being able to vote during Jim Crow, the white folk used to say, that's okay. They used to say it to black folk, that's okay. You can vote how you like, and we'll count the votes how we like. Oh, this is old. This is old. This mentality is old. It's at the root of everything because we say so. That is the definition of supremacy. It is so because I say it is. That is at the root of supremacy. I can do this because I say I can. And this is not about the law. I will enforce the laws I want and openly ignore the ones I don't. As George Carlin once said, power does what power wants to do. It doesn't have to abide by any rules. It does what it wants to do. And they are breaking the law every day, and they want to know what you're going to do about it. Yeah, I broke the law, so what? Yeah, we murdered Alton Sterling. Yeah, we locked up the guy and tried to have him put in prison who recorded it. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we killed Eric Garner, and yeah, we put the guy who recorded it, we put him in jail for 4 years. Yeah, yeah. This is what we have going on. These are the odds we face now. Now understand, they're not going to stop. What you're going to see now is they're going to try to push for more laws. But I tell you, do not be afraid. They were already doing this. This is stuff they were already doing. There was no cops got shot. There were no attacks on police that prompted the, quote, Blue Lives Matter law in Louisiana. This was because this has always been the goal. They just were hoping you wouldn't be looking. But now they have no choice. Everybody's watching, so now they've just got to try to ram this through and try to make as much distance as they can before they get stopped. But they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They are engaging in a race war against black people. They know what they're doing. And the people who come out defending them and trying to talk like, well, you know, he was armed. He didn't have anything in his hands. Well, he had it in his pocket. Okay, that's not armed. Well, he had a rap sheet. That person is a white supremacist who understands. They're not saying that because they think what they're saying refutes the facts. They're saying it because they're just telling you, well, we can. They're not trying to prove to you that they're righteous. They're just trying to prove, well, we've got the power to do that. But what you don't have is the support of the people. You don't have it. You don't have the support of the people at large. And that's why WWL was upset, because there were pictures of the police officers posted, but people have not been giving the responses that they were hoping for. And isn't that absolutely disgusting and unscrupulous for a television station like WWL to be trying to coerce people to give statements in support of the police? I thought you were supposed to be the media and just a neutral observer. You're not supposed to be trying to influence the audience one way or the other. You're supposed to just report the news. You're not supposed to be trying to influence people. Yes, I understand. They're a white supremacist apparatchik. Yes, I get it, but I'm just telling you all. Your local television station is not supposed to be trying to take an opinion or a side in these events. They're supposed to just report what happened. When Alton Sterling was killed, you didn't hear the words tragic. You didn't hear the words violent. Notice, they're not saying that. They're not saying that the police were violent. Now, today you heard violence everywhere. Violence, 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 violence. When the police murder somebody, it's not violence. And let me be very, very clear to you. They talked to David, this was a mass shooting. The police do mass shootings to black people all of the time. When they marched into Aiyana Jones's apartment, that was a mass shooting. Sean Bell was a mass shooting. They walked up to the car and tried to kill everybody in it. They shot everybody in it in an attempt to have a mob-style rub out. They were trying to murder everyone in Sean Bell's car. Fortunately, they were only able to kill just him. Fortunately or unfortunately, they were only able to kill just him. But they attempted a mob-style rub out. They were trying to murder everyone in that car. They shot everybody in the car, and they had no intention for anyone to live. This was not about protecting their lives. This was about killing the witnesses. Murder them all. And a district attorney came and said, meh, I don't see no crime here. Meh. Nothing wrong here. Meh. This tells you that you are not up against a couple of bad cops. How can you still be a member of the New York Police Department working alongside those individuals? You're no longer a good cop anymore. You are now a bad cop because you accept the system. You're not a good cop anymore. This lie that there are a bunch of good police officers and the bad ones are the minority. If that were true, then why are Alton Sterling's killers still walking the streets? If that's true, why are they not in jail already? They arrested the guy who put up the video of Alton Sterling being killed. Now, he found his way to jail, but the gunmen, the two gunmen who shot down and violently killed Alton Sterling on video, the two gunmen continue to walk the streets. Alton Sterling is dead. The man who put up the video, they tried to put him in jail. The man who owned the convenience store, they detained him. Now, I want to give a few words of advice and a few words of encouragement to our white supremacist friends who are feeling pretty low today. First of all, I want to tell you that when you start feeling bad, and you start feeling low, and those racial slurs start swirling around your head, and you start getting upset, and you start getting angry, and you want to beat your kids and your wife and kick the dog and whatnot, and you want to go find somebody black so you can go mean mug them. I just want you to know that I hope that these words comfort you. Forgive, forgive, forgive! Oh, you need to forgive! And I think that we should shove a camera and a microphone into the faces of every single police officer, sheriff's department, FBI, and the rest of them, and say, do you forgive the shooter? Because that was what Don Lemon's goofy ass just did to Philando Castile's mother. And they did that to Walter Scott's mother and Eric Garner's wife. And every time the police murder a black person, oh, do you forgive them? Because we need to just put this behind us. Well, then we need to please, you're not angry about this. You need to stop the violence. We need to stop the violence, okay? Do you forgive? You should really just forgive. I mean, should you be carrying all this anger around with you? Isn't that kind of wrong? Forgive! So, my response to all of you is forgive. And did you see some of the responses I got on Twitter just to saying that? All I said was that the police should forgive the shooter, forgive him. Boy, you should have heard the responses to that. The people who tell us to forgive all the time, they weren't very damn forgiving today. They don't believe in living by what they say to us. I know, it's white supremacy. I get it. But to the white supremacists out there, let your words comfort you. Forgive! 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 Secondly, I would like to offer you some words of encouragement from the President of the United States. You know, the goofy Negro who steps over the dead bodies of black people every day and tells us, well, you should still support the police, even if they kill you. If you'll all remember, at his absolutely farcical town hall, supposedly on race, which was nothing but an orchestrated photo op put together by the White House, executed by Disney Studios, the ABC wing of Disney Studios, Barack Obama sat there making all kinds of excuses. And you know, it reminds me of a speech that he had given in Brussels. He was responding to a reporter, and he had said that, well, you know, justice doesn't happen overnight. There's lots of injustice. Justice doesn't happen overnight. And that's okay. He said that. I understand that, you know, things don't change overnight, and my kids may not have everything, you know. We might not. Building a just society takes time, and that's okay. So I would like to say tonight to the race soldiers and your supporters, a just society does not happen overnight. So, and that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. You need to get used to the fact that justice won't happen today, won't happen tomorrow, won't happen next week, next month, or next year. Probably not next decade. You just need to get used to the idea that justice doesn't happen overnight. Why it may take 1,000 years, 3,000 years. But you should remember that that is okay, because when Barack Obama said it, you were fine with it. Now, I don't want to hear any of this mess about arresting people, investigating people. We haven't gotten Daniel Pantaleo arrested yet. It's been 2 years since he murdered Eric Garner. He's still walking the streets. You don't hear anybody who's supporting the police today demanding his arrest. So I'm going to tell you tonight that you might as well, we need you to stop being so filled with hate. Stop being so filled with vitriol. And start showing the example of the kind of America you want to see. You need to accept that if something bad is happening, you need to wait to find out if the gunman is going to grow a conscience. But at no point, at no time, should you respond to violence with violence. It is wrong for anybody to say that anyone, the police, the sheriffs, the FBI, no one should be talking about responding to violence with violence. That's just wrong. And that's wrong of you to attempt to influence people to do that or persuade someone to accept that. Violence is wrong. And two wrongs do not make a right. So there should be no further acts of violence. The governor needs to stop calling for acts of violence. And any attempts to send people out with guns, talking about we're going to investigate people, that's a call to violence. No more violence. You need to do what you have told black people to do. If a black person is killed by race soldiers perpetrating police, you tell us to go home. Go home and pray about it and hope that the community forgives and heals. And I am telling you tonight, race soldiers, you need to go home, forget about it, hope and pray that the community will heal. Now, I want you to open wide and take a great big teaspoon of your own medicine. And the next time that you witness race soldiers gun down black people, maybe you'll decide that you shouldn't just sit there and accept that and condone it. Now, of course, we all know that's not true. That's not true at all. Not true at all. Because cowards don't operate that way. It doesn't matter that we have done nothing to them. We're not picking a fight, well, this fight is picking us. So I'm going to give them the advice that they've given us. Go home. Violence is not the answer. Forgive. 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 Those are my words of comfort to you tonight. I hope you're not ungrateful. That would be a bad thing. Forgive. Forgive. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Now, I want to offer up some words of warning to people out there. The people are watching, and we should not make ourselves easy targets. Absolutely by no means should anyone be talking about taking any type of violent action against police. You should not discuss guns. You should not discuss gunplay. You should not discuss plans or intentions that something of a fatal nature should occur. You should not do that at all. You have to watch your Facebook posts. Of course, they are apparatchiks of the system, and they are trying to penalize and trying to marginalize people. They understand that their time is running out. The big white-owned social media sites, they know their time is running out, but they're going to try to do as much damage as they can in the meantime. However, watch what you all are saying out there. Watch what you post. Yes, you want to speak freely, but do not say things that put you out there on Front Street. The bad guys speak in codes, and you need to regulate what you say to make sure that it's very clear that you are not going to present an easy target. I know that a lot of you want to say certain things, but I'm telling you, don't do that, because that makes you an easy target. Do not post pictures, either drawn or photographs, of violence toward police officers. Do not do that. Not simply because law enforcement may be watching, but because you're blowing your cover. Do not post pictures like that. Do not make statements encouraging other people to do things like that. These are the easy things they can catch you for. This is the easy stuff they can go after. Don't fall into that trick bag, because you see, they will let police get online and put on pictures and showing them pointing guns at black children and black babies, but they will not prosecute the cops for that. They talk about them losing their jobs. Now, for you, they'll sit up here and talk about prosecuting you, but for them, oh well, slap on the wrist, you've been suspended for a few days. But for you, they'll do it differently. Knowledge yourself in the chat room, you said it absolutely right. The block is hot right now. Now, you all have to understand that when the block is hot, you don't stand out there and watch the people come driving by. You don't do that. When the block is hot, y'all fall back. You always keep your eyes and your ears open, but you never do what they expect you to do. So if the block is hot, you don't sit up here and throw up smoke signals and say, here we are. You don't sit up here and make it easy for the bad guys to victimize you. You never do that. Never. You see, they've built a system that allows them to be tyrannical and victimize other people. You have to understand that that's just the reality that you live in. Didn't say it's right, didn't say it's fair, but that's where you are. So you have got to operate within those parameters. But do not sit up here broadcasting to the world, I hate police, I want something bad to happen. Don't do that. I'm telling all of you right now, stop that. Do not post up one more thing where you're broadcasting to the world, I want something bad to happen to somebody. You are not, number one, you're not supposed to be doing that. And number two, that's the kind of goofy nigga stuff that throws up flags and flares to them. And I don't want to be around anybody doing goofy stuff. I don't want to be around anybody doing goofy stuff, because we need discipline. We need people to be disciplined, and we need people to be reserved. You are supposed to know where every one of your steps are falling. And trying to turn everything into a damn block party is not what we're here for. That is not what we are here for. So to everyone listening here, understand they are hoping that you make goofy mistakes. And they will just selectively enforce the law however they want to, and it will always be the axe coming down on you. Always. I'm telling all of you here, don't do that. You know what you think, and you know what you feel, and you know what you believe. And I'm going to say to everybody here tonight, don't make yourselves heard with a picture or a post. Make yourselves heard with your dollars. That's how you make things change. You don't post up in front of the world what you want. You use your dollars to show them what you want. That's what you do. That's what I want everyone to remember tonight. Forgive. 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 I don't cry. I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. And this concludes tonight's special memorial broadcast of the Black Channel Radio program. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant and kinsman, the Black Authority. And until next time, brothers and sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future. And to our enemies, forgive! 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 Don't that feel real good now?